Hi guys, welcome to the second Color My Page challenge, for which I am using QoR watercolors by Golden. We did a challenge, meaning that you got to pick your favorite colors, and I am using the top 3 of those, and I'm going to try and make a beautiful art journal page with that. In reverse, it would be really great if you also took the challenge and used these colors or colors that look like it. Don't go buying stuff for it, but just try to match it as closely as you can, and to also take the challenge. There is a Facebook group that I made especially for the Color My Page challenge, and it's on Facebook, and I will put the link in right here in the video and down below in the description. The intention is that I will demo and review brands of paint. So every time I'm going, brands of paint and art supplies. So every time I'm going to point out a certain brand and a certain type of paint or pencils or whatever, and I'm going to ask you to choose your favorite color. So on one hand, I'm limiting myself to a palette to challenge myself and do something with a limited palette, and at the same time I'm trying to get experience with the colors and the paints that I'm using, and I want to share with you the experience that I have. So today it is QoR watercolors. This is a paint I've been meaning to try for a long time. I ordered the High Chroma the High Chroma set, which consists of, well, I bought the High Chroma set, which has lovely colors in it, and I made a really beautiful mixing table of that, and you could choose your favorite colors, and the ones that were chosen were cobalt teal, which I'm really pleased about, because as you can see here, mixing cobalt teal with the other colors makes for a wonderful granulation and color cloud. So this really becomes an effect paint when mixing it with the other paints. So cobalt teal has been chosen. Quinacridone magenta has also been chosen, and if you look at the mix between the cobalt teal and the quinacridone magenta, it's lovely. And the transparent pyrrole orange has also been chosen, which is a really bright orange, very powerful in strength. I already mixed it, and it's a pretty dominant color. So it's these colors I'm using. Quinacridone gold came in also in 3rd place, but I am trying to stick to the 3-color rule that I set myself, because I want to give myself a challenge. And the quinacridone gold was somewhere lower down, was a line below that. So I am choosing the transparent pyrrole orange, quinacridone magenta, and cobalt teal. Using the quinacridone gold would have been more balanced, but you know, this is a challenge that I'm posing myself and you to just do it with what you have, because you know, to be an artist you don't need a lot of stuff. I know artists who work in ballpoint only, so it is good for your mind to limit yourself and to see what you can do with it. Okay, so the challenge. I put the 3 colors in here: the pyrrole transparent orange, the cobalt teal, and the quinacridone magenta, and I'm going to use these colors only for my challenge. And I've already been working a bit. I filmed yesterday as well, but I forgot to turn on the camera. So this is a color stain background that I did yesterday, and I made a puddle of water and very light paint, very diluted paint, and I was checking for flow and granulation, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to focus on this area, and as you can see, there is some granulation going on there, and I love it because it if you want to use this color stain as a basis to draw in, to see things in and to draw in, it's a fantastic paint. So the other paints are used very lightly, so it's not a very bright stain yet. Okay, zooming back out again because I want to start working on the page. So what I was a bit, at first I wanted to do a drawing based on figures I could find in this color stain. But this morning I was meditating and something funny happened, because I have this rosy quartz that I have in front of a candle so that the candlelight is not as bright, and I love looking into the rosy quartz to see the structures within the stone. What I saw is that the top facet of the stone was in the shape of a dog's face. I suddenly saw, when I was sort of squinting my eyes, I saw this dog's face, and so what I did is I drew him. He even had ears, and because this is where, you know, the stone comes down. So this is what the dog was about. But then I also noticed that there was a man in the stone, and he was looking so sad. There was really this mouth, this disillusioned, sad mouth, and the eyes with the sad lines here, and there really was this shading in the face. So when I concentrated on that a little bit, there really was a beautiful face, and I decided I'm going to draw these into my page, and I'm going to do both the dog and the man. I mean, after all, this is an art journal, so I'm going to make the page about my day, basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop videoing live because it's taking a long time, and I'm going to put on the speed paint so you can see how I go. And in the meantime, I will give some feedback about the experience I have with this paint. So in drawing the sketch on my art journal page, I use a 4H graphite pencil, which is very light and easy to erase and doesn't leave marks. What I noticed about the QoR watercolor paint is that when you do erase on it, the paint does not fade or disappear, or at least these colors didn't. Many watercolors will get erased as well, and you will see clear tracks that are lighter, but with this paint that went just fine. Here is when I start layering new layers of paint onto the old watercolor stain, and first thing I noticed is that the colors that were beneath hardly came off at all. Only the cobalt teal stains, the darker stains, had a little tendency, but only slightly, to be reactivated. All the other paints were they stayed perfectly in place. Another thing I noticed about the QoR watercolor paints is that they remind me of the Sennelier watercolor paints, in that they are incredibly translucent, so layering them on top of each other works like a charm. The colors remain bright and colorful, and it's just a joy to use this paint in layers, really. What you can also see is that no matter how I mix these colors, and the cobalt teal is a really weird color, I suspected quite a bit of mudding, but it didn't happen. The colors remain quite clear. I mean, I did get browns, but I didn't get mud. And that is really fantastic, because I tried to get mud and it just didn't work. As you can see, the colors are very, very bright. I didn't enhance my video at all. This is just a video as I shot it today with cloudy weather outside. But as you can see, the colors are really jumping at you. They are very, very bright. I really enjoyed working with this paint. when you lay down a thicker layer of paint, it works very fine, no problems. The paint sort of flows beautifully into wet areas, and you get really beautiful harsh lines when used wet on dry, and you get really beautiful flow, exceptionally good flow when working wet in wet. So as you can see, when I use the cobalt teal on the magenta, you can see that I use a wet brush to sort of smoothen the lines, and it works superb. So that's awesome about this paint. The vibrance of these QoR watercolor paints is pretty spectacular without getting too dark. Like the Daniel Smith paints, for instance, when you apply them with only a little water, you will see that the paint is really dark. This QoR watercolor paint is more like the Sennelier. They don't really get dark when used intensely, but just much brighter. Working with this color combo of the cobalt teal, the pearl orange and the quinacridone magenta was quite a challenge, because it was not, I felt, a balanced combination, but I managed to create balance by using light and dark areas, and I will also, as you will be able to see soon, add more of the blue in it, more of the cobalt teal, to form more of a balance, because it's sort of a beautiful contrast to the orange, but it also creates a beautiful background to the quinacridone magenta. As you see, I'm working on top of previous layers a lot, and the previous layers, they stay on the paper really well. I had no problems with previous layers of paint coming back off, being reactivated too much. It worked just perfectly. I am very enthusiastic about this paint, and I'm looking forward to working with this a lot more, because the colors, the mixes are beautiful, as is the layering. It's just perfect. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope the review has been helpful to you, and that you feel challenged to use these colors yourself and create a beautiful page. Please check out my Facebook group and click on my link to the blog to find out how you can get there. Bye!